Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys!
There is no cookbook for Mordor. No orc ever wrote down a recipe, because no orc ever needed to be proud of what they ate. But across the pages of The Lord of the Rings, Tolkien leaves us a trail of crumbs. Stale gray bread, scraps of unnamed meat, a burning drink poured down a hobbit's throat. And from those crumbs, a picture emerges. It is not a pleasant one. This is the real, textually accurate answer to a question most fans never think to ask. What exactly was on the menu in the armies of Sauron and Saruman? When Frodo is held captive in the Tower of Cirith Ungol, the orcs throw him something to eat. It is stale gray bread, and Frodo eats it anyway because he is starving. But alongside the bread comes meat. Meat he does not recognize, flung at him carelessly, the flesh of some creature he dares not guess at. Frodo eats the bread. He does not touch the meat. That single detail tells us almost everything about orc provisioning. The bread is bad, but it is at least identifiable, a known grim staple. The meat is the opposite, unlabeled, untraceable, and deliberately left a mystery by Tolkien himself. He never tells us what kind of creature it came from. That ambiguity is the point. If bread and mystery meat were the solid rations, orcs also had something to drink, and this is where Tolkien gives us his most detailed recipe in the entire saga. When Merry and Pippin are dragged across Rohan by Uglúk's band, the orc chieftain forces a burning liquid down Pippin's throat. The effect is immediate. The pain in his legs vanishes, a fierce hot glow spreads through him, and he can stand and run again. This is the orc-draught, and Tolkien is explicit that it is a corrupted mirror of something good. The Free Peoples have miruvor, the cordial of Rivendell, warming, sustaining, healing. The orc-draught does the same job through brute force instead of grace. It does not heal. It forces the body to keep moving past the point it should be able to. And the moment its effect fades, Pippin collapses, colder and sicker than before. It is a drug, not a meal, a stimulant built for an army that needs to march, not an army that needs to be nourished. Merry says it best once they've escaped. Lembas, the Elvish waybread, puts heart into you. The orc-draught only gave a different kind of heat, and he admits he'd rather not know what it was made of. Now for the question everyone actually wants answered. Did orcs eat people? In the book, when the Mordor orc Grishnákh's band clashes with Uglúk's Isengarders, Grishnákh accuses Uglúk of being little better than a cannibal, implying the rumors about what some orc bands ate were common knowledge even among orcs themselves. Uglúk, for his part, boasts that his master gives his Uruk-hai man's flesh to eat, a claim he makes with something close to pride. We are never told exactly where that meat comes from. Tolkien doesn't show us a battlefield harvest or a butchering scene. He leaves it as an accusation and a boast, hanging in the dialogue, daring the reader to draw their own conclusion. And later, deep in the Tower of Cirith Ungol, Shagrat threatens his subordinate Gorbag with a punishment if he steps out of line. He'll end up for the pot. It's said as a threat between orcs, not a joke for the audience, which makes it worse. So, did orcs eat other orcs, eat captured men, or both? Tolkien never confirms it outright, but he plants enough, an accusation, a boast, a threat, that the implication is unmistakable. In Mordor and Isengard, meat did not always have an innocent origin. Step back and the bigger picture makes grim sense. Orc armies were not farmers. They did not cultivate land, raise livestock, or maintain supply chains the way the Free Peoples did. Mordor itself is a wasteland, ash, rock, and poisoned air, barely capable of sustaining life, let alone agriculture. Whatever orcs ate, they typically took, raided, plundered, or scavenged from the lands and peoples they conquered. That explains the gray bread, a grim, mass-produced staple, probably the closest thing orc logistics had to standard rations. It explains the orc-draught, a chemical shortcut for an army that couldn't afford to feed itself properly and needed soldiers upright anyway. And it explains why, When supplies ran short on the march through Rohan, the implication of darker meat resurfaces almost immediately. Orc cuisine, in other words, was never really cuisine at all. It was the logistics of an empire built on conquest rather than cultivation. And the food, like everything else in Sauron's service, was a corruption of what it should have been. There's something quietly telling in how Tolkien handles this. He never writes a scene of orcs sitting down to a meal in comfort. Even Saruman's perfected Uruk-hai, his proudest creation, are sustained by stolen bread and a burning drug instead of anything resembling nourishment. It's a small detail, but it says something large. A society built on domination instead of cultivation can never truly feed itself. It can only keep itself moving, one forced meal at a time, until it collapses. A society that only takes and never builds will eventually starve, no matter how strong it looks marching forward. Ready for your next fantasy fix? You've got 2 awesome choices on screen right now. If you're counting down the days for House of the Dragon Season 3, click right here to see the brutal book battle that will open the season. But if you want more Lord of the Rings and are hyped for the hunt for Gollum, click over here to explore Gandalf's hunt. Click your favorite, and I'll see you in the next one.